I've been training calisthenics now for almost 3 years, and along that journey I've managed to build myself into the top 1% of physiques and strength with just calisthenics alone. But I didn't start like this. When I first started calisthenics, I was this pathetically skinny kid. I was just lean, I had no actual muscle, I was just skin and bones. While calisthenics is amazing, just by default, it will not build you size. It's amazing for strength, control, endurance, but if you're actually wanting to build a physique, build muscle, you need to purposely train for hypertrophy with calisthenics, which means training different to how most people will train when they're working towards the skills, be that a handstand or a muscle up. I'm going to go into exact detail around the 5 steps that changed everything for me in regards to building my physique with calisthenics. So step 1, tension over reps. When it comes to calisthenics, most people are just training to move better throughout space rather than actually building their muscles. They're just training their skills, but not actually their physique. If you want to build muscle with calisthenics, you need to turn every rep into a set that hurts. Well, in a good way. You want to be controlling that tempo, slowing the eccentric, holding at the bottom, squeezing at the top, right? Performing every rep with the best form you can in order for that hypertrophy to take place. This isn't about just doing 30, 50, 100 reps. This is about making 10 quality good reps feel like 100 reps. You should finish your sets with your muscles aching, not your lungs gasping for air from the endurance training you had just completed. Think of each rep like a sculptor strike, right? If you're sculpting a Greek statue, if you just go in rushing, hitting all over, you're never going to finish the piece, you're just going to destroy it. But if you take your time with it and focus on control, you slowly chip away at it, carving that definition. So here's what you do today, right? You pick one exercise, whether it be a dip, a pull-up, a row, whatever it may be, and do 3 sets of it, right? Slow and controlled. Slow the eccentric, pause at the bottom, the top, whatever it may be, and control the way back up. Squeezing at the top. Actually feel the muscles working. Film it if you need to, making sure you're using the correct form. You'll know instantly if you've been training wrong this whole time. Step 2, progressive overload still applies no matter what you're doing, even if it is calisthenics. All right, the mistake that a lot of people make with calisthenics, especially when they're wanting to build muscle, is focusing too much on mastering the movements rather than progressing the movements. But if you want to build actual muscle with calisthenics, you need to apply progressive overload, just like you would do if you were in the gym working your way up the dumbbell rack. Right, with calisthenics, you do this a bit differently. You don't necessarily add more weight on, although that is one method. You can do it in other ways, like elevating your feet while doing a row or a push-up. Right? Adding some extra reps in, changing the leverage of the exercise you're doing. Push-ups can become pseudo push-ups. Rows can become front lever prep. Whatever it may be, you can increase the progression of the exercise, implementing that progressive overload the exact same way. Right? Training without tracking your movements and trying to progress is just like sailing without a compass. You might be moving, but you'll never know if you're actually getting closer to your destination, to the end point. So here's what you do right now. Again, pick a movement, whatever it may be. Write down what you're doing for that movement right now. How many sets, how many reps, what the weight is, the elevation, whatever it may be. Write it down, and in a week's time, 2 weeks' time, try to increase it. Even if it's just by 1 extra rep, a slight more of an elevation, whatever it may be, just try to improve it in any way you can as the weeks go by. Right, that's how you actually grow. That's how you stop plateauing and actually implement that progressive overload into all of your sessions and exercises. All right, step 3, eat like you actually mean it, like you actually want to progress. When I first started calisthenics, all I focused on doing in my first year was just trying to bulk up, right? I was a super skinny kid. I was training hard, recovering well, but still not growing. Why? Because I was slacking in my diet, in my bulk. I was under eating, skipping the extra meals and food that I should have been eating because I was too full. Calisthenics, yeah, it doesn't burn as many calories as you might think. It's not like cardio, but you still need to be eating in a surplus if you actually want to build muscle and put on size. You need fuel, you need protein in order to actually build the muscle you're after. Trying to build muscle without eating enough is like trying to build a house without the bricks. Yeah, you might have the perfect foundation and put in all the work in, but without the actual needed material in order to build, in order to grow that house, it's never going to happen. Stop skipping your meals, stop guessing your intake of calories every day, and start actually tracking what you're having. You want to be aiming for at least 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, and eating at least 3 to 4 solid meals a day if you can. There's always ways to get around it. If you're someone who struggles to eat your calories, you can always try drinking your calories instead, or trying lighter meals that are more calorie dense. So here's what you do today, right now. Prep out a meal, make sure it's a high protein meal. Try to eat it every single day for this week at the exact same time if you can, right? Build up that habit of having this extra high protein meal, because you're not just eating for the sake of it, you're eating to actually fuel your body's growth. Step 4. Skills don't build size alone. Muscle ups, handstands, planche, whatever it may be, let's be honest, they look amazing, and they are, but they don't actually build much muscle mass unless purposely trained with tension, right? The skills are more performance than they are hypertrophy. If you're only chasing the skills, you're most likely going to skip that foundation needed, right? The push-ups, the rows, the dips, pull-ups, squats, whatever it may be, these are your foundation, your compound movements. These are your actual muscle builders for your physique. So here's what you do today. Build your split around the basics. Push, pull, legs, 3 to 4 movements, 3 to 4 sets. Focus on tension. Once you've built the foundation, the body that you want, then you can actually start working primarily towards those skills if that is your goal. Step 5, volume and frequency build size. Training 2 to 3 times a week with low volume, inefficient programming, it's not going to be enough to grow. You need enough stimulus in order to build the muscle that you want. Muscle growth requires a good amount of sets done per week on each muscle group. That's not optional, it's just scientifically proven. That means hitting each muscle group at least twice a week. That means training, if needed, 4 to 5 times a week. And no, you don't have to necessarily kill yourself every session, be aching sore, and still moving on to the next. You just need more consistency in your actual training program. So here's what you can do today, right now. Build a weekly plan. Pick your split, whether that be full body, push-pull legs, whatever it may be. Track the total amount of sets you're doing. Write down what you are actually doing exercise-wise and how much for. Volume builds muscle. Frequency builds momentum. And together, they build your physique. So to summarize everything we just went over in 5 simple bullet points. Number 1, pick 3 movements, be it a push-up, a row, squat, pull-up, whatever it may be. Number 2, apply tension to the movements, slow the tempo, full range of motion, squeeze at the top. Number 3, track your progressive overload, right? Track how many reps you're doing, how many sets you're doing, the weight you're adding to it, the elevation, whatever it may be. Number 4, actually eat to grow, right? 3 to 4 meals a day, big focus on protein. And number 5, train 4 to 5 times a week, log everything needed, make sure you're hitting that ample amount of muscle work needed per week in order to actually grow. Right, if you're doing more of a full body split, then you could get away with 2 to 3 times a week, but you need to be making sure you're hitting everything correctly. All right, apply these 5 steps and you will start building muscle with your calisthenics training. And if you want a full system built around these, a complete blueprint, a complete program that you can just follow along and reach the end result that you want, right, a superhuman physique, then click that top link in the description below. With all that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.